So when I mention helping kids and particularly boys to start with, um, the reason I say that I can help boys that have no mentors is my training um, has been with former Navy SEAL, um, Green Berets, and former high level law enforcement. Um, I have also trained with a bunch of different people from across the country um, that have taught me lots of valuable lessons on how to build teams. Okay, and building teams is the same as building community. Um, Now, I could sit here and tell you a bunch of lingo and how it's done and what it takes, but ultimately, what it takes to to start building yourself into something that is productive in society, you have to accept the fact that suffering is a part of life. Not only is it a part of life, suffering is the only way that you will grow as a human. And I've seen this happen with some teenagers that have been at some of these trainings, like 17, 18. But I've seen it more so happen in a lot of older people um, that didn't necessarily know these things. Um, Now, I've also seen a lot of people that have just kind of shown up and proven to themselves of what they're capable of, and that's great. I love it. Um, that's that's on a personal level for everyone that shows up to go and train with those guys. Uh, that that's what you're there for. That's fine. What I what I it, went there for, and what I will continue to go and train with these guys for, is because I never had a real mentor ever in my life. The only mentors that I had, um, real mentors, as far as becoming a man, was my grandma, my nana, Barbara. Uh, and she passed away, golly, it's been 12 years ago, 13 years ago now. Um, and she could only do so much in my life because my parents were divorced. I come from a broken home, um, but I was also blessed with an amazing stepmother who's actually my mother. She's my mama. Um, she raised me to the best of her ability as I became a young teenager. You know, at 14 on through now. Um, you know, she's been my uh, the best mentor that I've got as far as like just being a loving person for me in my life. But just being a loving person doesn't really just being a loving person and being a mother is not going to give a young boy the skills that he needs to become a functioning member of society who puts other people and other people's needs before his own. And what I can teach these boys is that by learning how to become skilled, dependable, and most of all, selfless, is that while yes, it is a selfish thing to want to do. I want to get better. That seems selfish. But if you're saying, I want to get better as a person so I can help other people get better, that's where the selflessness comes in. And I've seen that. I've seen that, but I've done that. I've done that at a fairly high level. Now, no life-threatening level of any kind, but if I were in a life-threatening situation and had a group of people around me and I had to build a team real quick, I can do it. I could build a team real quick. And that life-threatening situation won't be so threatening. It won't. It just won't, because of this training that I've been involved with for a couple years now. I'd like to pass that on to young boys in my community, and eventually I'd like to start integrating, girls as well, because it is a cooperative. We have to work together to treat each other right. So at first my plan would be to start helping young boys become men, because these boys, oh my goodness, I ain't seen these boys are so coddled. They're so entitled. They're such brats. And I coach a softball team full of, 16-year-old and under, down to 14-year-old girls. And they're way tougher than these boys out here at their age. And I mean mentally tougher, right? Obviously, they're not going to be as strong physically, but mentally they're way tougher. The problem, though, is that a weak boy mentally who learns or has been taught manipulation tactics throughout his life can damage that strong girl and devalue her to where she feels helpless and hopeless. And then that starts to lead into, homes that we don't have two parents and things like that. Because these girls that I'm coaching on the softball team, they're getting to that point of, let's just be honest. They're getting to the point of where they're starting to think about sex and things like that. And some of them are going to make mistakes. They're going to get involved with the wrong boy. And, unfortunately, like right now, I think most boys are just the wrong boy. I'm not seeing a lot of good ones, man. I'm just not. And quite frankly, maybe some of that's my ignorance, because I don't give them the time of day. Because I have a young daughter. I have a 14-year-old daughter, and I'm highly protective of her. Now, I'm not a helicopter parent. She has her freedom. But she stays so dang busy. I mean, these boys can't keep up. They can't keep up with how busy she is. So they don't get really a chance right now to mess with her. She's got a boyfriend that they're on and off. and that's fine with me. I've met the kid, shook his hand a couple times. He's a football player, um, stout kid, strong work ethic, comes from a good two-parent home, and that's great. But I still don't know him really. So I know my sweet daughter loves him, and she is sweet, genuinely sweet, like a good person. And it's so important that boys become men so that they can allow a sweet, good woman to love them and help them become a great man. Right? Because women are great way faster than men. Like they got the jump. They got the jump on us big time. So I know I may sound like I'm rambling. I guess I am to a certain degree, and that's fine. Um, but at the end of the day, it is my objective in the future to put together some type of program to start getting these young boys who are disenfranchised, or even young boys who aren't disenfranchised, because I'd really like to have a collaborative effort, especially in these schools. I'd like the loser and the most popular jock to be able to disagree on things, but at the end of the day, come together and form a team that's going to be functional and knows what the hell to do in certain situations, in all situations, and how to treat people and what to do. Be nice, um, be loving, all of these things. But what I want to stop from happening is something that happened recently, a few months ago. This kid that comes from a broken home here, and it is a broken home. It is a broken home, and it's. I don't want to gossip, so it's just a. It was just a cheating circle, like just the mom left the dad for the other mom and for the other dad, and they ended up like marrying each other, and then so this kid ends up, and he's in such a bad spot that he feels like it's necessary to go in and start beating this, um, you know basically what I've been told is like a teddy bear of a guy, of a kid. He goes in the lunchroom and just starts beating his head, beating him just relentlessly in the head here in White County, Georgia. And there were no strong male presence. There was no strong male presence in that room, in that lunchroom, that could stop that kid from beating him. So that kid obviously has some brain damage. He's filed charges against the student. The student's been expelled, rightfully so. I'm not saying we should condemn that kid. That kid needs help, and I can provide that help. I can provide that help. I mean, I'll need a team to do so. So that's my mission in the future, is to build a team that can help these kids. I really want everyone out there to know and understand what it is to be able to build a community if you don't have one. Become a part of a community if you don't have one. I want these kids to know that accountability is important. I want these kids to know that when they go to church, accountability is important. And I don't care if it's an elder in the church or whatever. If the elder's doing something wrong, say something about it. All right? That's what leadership is. Leadership is, hey, if I'm not showing you that I care about you, then I know you don't. There's no way that you're going to care about me. That person that's younger should be able to go to that leader and say, hey, you're not doing your job. And I don't, people will hide behind Bible scripture, biblical scripture, and say that the elder knows best in the church. And unfortunately, in today's society, that's not always true. Not even close. Because a lot of these folks have, instead of finding community in real life and in real time, they've found their community once a week or twice a week in a church building, and that's sufficient for them. We'll get into my faith later on, because it is an integral part of this. But as for now, we'll just leave it at my mission is to protect kids in school. I want to teach kids. Right now, I want to teach boys how to build teams, and I want to teach them how to hold each other accountable, and I want to teach them how to be good people and start to be good men. And from there, hopefully, we can continue that, and they can continue that, and we can pass that along and start spreading it, from this community to the, neighboring communities and things like that. And I just want everybody to get better. I genuinely want everybody to get better. And this is something that I would do if I were wealthy. I would do it at no cost, but I'm not wealthy, so I can't do it at no cost. So I will need help. I will need a team. I will need resources. I will need equipment. I will need tools. I will need gear. And I'm not talking weapons and things like that, but I am talking other types of gear, outdoor gear, things like that. And then I'll need commitment from parents. And then I'll need people that have trained me to be in my corner. And I know they will if I ask them to, but I have to make it well known that that is my purpose before they would extend that olive branch. So again, here from my shop, talking about how I'd like to help fix this world. And, it is by the grace of God that I am here today. It's by the grace of God that I'm alive. It's by the grace of God that I have been afforded the ability to go and get this type of training from good people. And all the glory is to God. So, again, we'll talk about that later. Till then, love y'all. Think about it. And let's get the ball rolling, man. Let's keep our kids safe. Let's turn them into freaking functional people in society. All right?